Hey class, this is Dawson Lane, and today we're going to be going over the structured settlement secondary market. In my group, it's me, AJ, Ethan, John, and Morgan. We're going to go into what a structured settlement is, what the secondary market is with these annuity buyouts, and we're going to go and talk about a business, JG Wentworth, who operates in this secondary market, and we're going to kind of explain the process of being in this market and what these buyouts entail. So everybody's probably very familiar with JG Wentworth already, with their very catchy commercial, Need Cash Now. They talk about if you have structured settlements or if you bought an annuity, how that you can go to them and they can give you cash now for those and it's your money. Use it when you need it. This kind of commercial was targeting people who were in structured settlements or have bought an annuity. And what a structured settlement and an annuity is a financial agreement in which a life insurance company provides periodic tax-free payments to a client over time as a form of compensation for a personal injury or other legal claim. So what JG Wentworth is the secondary market on these structured settlements and annuities, and they buy pretty much those lifetime payments from these people for an exchange of a discounted lump sum of cash to their clients. So this company, JG Wentworth, that buys these structured settlements, these long-term structured settlements and annuities, is located in 1200 Morris Drive, Chesterbrook, Pennsylvania. The company is considered a private company, is currently owned by JGW Debt Settlement LLC, and it has private investors. Now, the company back in 2016 actually was publicly traded for common stock on the OTCQX market. However, it is no longer publicly traded or a public company. So down below is the link to jgwentworth.com. If you click that link, it will take you to their main website. Now, once you're on the website, you can go and kind of explore some of the main financial services that they offer. Now, obviously, structured settlements and annuity buyouts are their main financial service that they offer their clients. But that's not all that JG Wentworth provides their clients. They also have debt relief programs, personal loans, insurance marketplace, credit card comparisons, home improvement marketplaces, and a lawsuit cash advantages. And what these marketplaces do is for the clients to compare different quotes for their home improvement or different credit cards and different insurance companies. Now, the lawsuit cash advantages are for their clients that are going through like a lengthy lawsuit. They can give cash advantages to them so they can get and secure a structured settlement. As mentioned previously in the slides, JG Wentworth was actually publicly traded in 2016. However, after bankruptcy, they went back to being a private company, and the stock is no longer traded and is now a privately invested company. The total assets of the company for the last data received in 2017 when it was a publicly traded company were $5.05 billion, and the revenues were $316.8 million. The company has been in business for 34 years and was founded in 1991. However, it did not start its structured settlement payment purchasing business until 1992 and introduced debt relief services in 2019.
A structured settlement is when someone gets a payment every year, usually from a lawsuit or insurance claim. Instead of waiting years for those payments, people can sell them to a company like JG Wentworth. The company gives them a lump sum of cash today, but it's less than total future payments. This is considered an alternative banking product because it's not a traditional loan or savings account. The court has to approve the sale to make sure the person understands what they're giving up. In this example, the person owns an annuity that pays $12,000 every year for 30 years. Over 30 years, that adds up to $360,000. But instead of waiting, the person wants the cash now. JG Wentworth will buy the rights to those payments and give up a lump sum. For example, $360,000 in future payments might be equal to about $150,000 right now because of discounting. To prove ownership, the seller must show the structured settlement agreement in court. The process usually takes 60 to 90 days, although in some simple cases it can be as fast as 30 to 45 days. JG Wentworth says they cover things like court fees and notary fees, so there are no hidden charges. The real quote unquote fee is the discount rate, usually 9% to 18%, depending on the case. That's why the lump sum is much smaller than the total future payments. The trade-off is simple, less money overall, but fast access to cash when it's needed.
This table shows the amount of the payments and money a person will get if they hold on to the settlement. If this person holds on to the settlement for the full amount of time, they will receive a total of $360,000. This, however, does not account for the time value of money, which is simply the fact that money today is worth more than money in the future. This table is showing you what that $360,000 is worth today, but as a percentage. With a discount rate of 15%, JG Wentworth will approximately pay you $78,792, which will be 22% of the $360,000. With a discount rate of 20%, you will get 17% of the $360,000. And with a discount rate of 25%, you will receive 13% of the $360,000. The typical time to sell a structured settlement is 45 to 90 days. The minimum documentation you will need is your original settlement agreement, your annuity contract or policy that funds your payments, and your photo ID. This service is convenient for those that need a lot of cash quickly and does not have time to wait for the settlement to pay out.
All right, class, now we'll be looking at the three regulators of the business, and them being the federal, the state, and the local. For the federal regulators, we would be looking at the U.S. Justice Department. The state will also be Georgia State and also Florida State, since we're kind of in the middle between both. And also the local regulators being the local governments and the boards. First, we'll be looking at some regulators and some laws dealing in the federal government. First off, 28 CFR 50.24 covers annuity brokers, minimum qualifications. It sets a standard for who can serve as a broker. Second, the final rule explains these qualifications and make sure that brokers meet these certain requirements. And lastly, the 28 USC section 519 give the annual general authority over litigation. This ensures the federal oversight in legal cases. And finally, the major requirement for this license is issued by the state and life insurance companies. Now we'll be looking at the regulators in the state of Georgia. First, the state regulators / laws are the main authorities. They create and enforce rules within Georgia. Chapter 12 of Title 51 of the Official Code of Georgia will soon be amended by the House of Bill 443, which deals with damages and settlement. Now, that has been amended passed since May 13th, 2022, allowing fault to be assigned even if there's only one defendant. This helps classify responsibilities in a court case. And lastly, the main requirement for regulators is a license issued by the state of Georgia. And now we'll be taking a quick look at regulators in the state of Florida. State regulators / law includes, but not limited to, Chapter 626.99296 of the 2021 Florida Status, which just means the transfer of structured settlement payments rights. And a major requirement for this regulator is just the same thing, a license issued by the state. Now, for local regulators, there's no specific law or regulations on the local level that is not covered by the federal or state law. It just means that there's no need for a local regulator since we already have the state and the federal to cover that.
As a result of this project, we've learned that having a structured settlement with an annuity offers long-term financial security and protection from extensive overspending. Instead of getting a lump sum, you can also get payments over an extended period of time, and it can also guarantee insulation from market fluctuations so that you don't get affected by stock market changes. You can say also, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to contact any of the group members. We will be more than happy to answer any of the questions that you have. And